So growing up, I feel like you were either a Silent Hill kid or a Resident Evil kid. Personally, I was a Resident Evil kid, but if the other games in the Silent Hill series are as good as the Silent Hill 2 remake, then it appears I have some catching up to do. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at 25 Easter eggs, hidden details, and secrets in the Silent Hill 2 remake. Now, this game is full of cool things to find, so I can almost guarantee that I've missed something. And if you think I have, then please let me know in the comments and I'll do my best to check it out and credit you in a future video. Oh, and of course, it really should go without saying, but this video will contain spoilers for pretty much the entire game. Oh, and one more thing, I promise. We are slowly making our way to 1 million subscribers, which for one guy making Easter egg videos would be insane. So if you could help me out and tap subscribe, that would be awesome. Anyway, without further delay, let's get started. Right, so let's try and cover everything in the order that it appears in the game. Starting with a very funny trophy. When the game begins, James isn't quite in Silent Hill yet, meaning it's not too late to turn back. Unfortunately, you can't drive James's car, so you'll have to leave on foot, which will cause this to happen. Okay, so it was too late to turn back, as James is turned around and you're awarded the No Turning Back Now trophy, which means that not only did the devs anticipate your cowardly but understandable actions, but they also wanted to ram home that there really is no way out. Another really cool detail that can be found at the very beginning is James's missing wedding ring. During the game's opening cutscene, James can be seen washing his hands, and it's here that we can clearly see the mark where James's wedding ring used to be. Of course, it's not just in cutscenes that this detail can be seen, but that cutscene is the first time it can be noticed. Oh, and like I said, this is my first time actually sitting down and properly playing a Silent Hill game. And when exploring the strip club, I found a ring in the Lost and Found box, and I'm guessing that it's James's. I mean, I could be wrong, so let me know what you think. Speaking of James's hands, you'll be seeing a lot of his thumb when playing the game. Whenever James picks up items, his thumb can be clearly seen. And at the beginning of the game, James has immaculately manicured nails. But as James heads further into Silent Hill, his nails begin to get noticeably dirty, which is crazy attention to detail. Now, the Silent Hill 2 remake isn't the first time that Silent Hill 2 has been given a makeover. The Silent Hill HD collection released back in 2012 for the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360, and featured a noticeable lack of fog among other things that fans didn't like. One of those things was the Silent Hill Ranch sign, which, as you can see, has been written in the Comic Sans font in the HD collection, which isn't the font I think of when I think of psychological horror. Thankfully, the Comic Sans font has been ditched in the 2024 remake. But if you're playing on PC and check out the nearby barn, you can find this. Yep, Bloober Team included the Comic Sans sign for dedicated players to find, which is brilliant. Now, something that I've been covering in my Hidden Detail series is in-game trigger discipline. For those that don't know, trigger discipline is when someone handling a gun rests their finger off the trigger when they aren't looking to shoot. It's actually a really cool way to show how experienced a certain character is without explicitly telling the player. For example, James is by trade an office clerk, so his experience with weapons is probably limited, and that's why he will always have his finger on the trigger, which is not good trigger discipline. Like I said, it's a clever way of highlighting James's lack of experience with weapons that aren't pillows. Now, something that I love about the Silent Hill 2 remake is that the game doesn't tell you where to go. You sort of have to figure it out yourself with the in-game map, which James will automatically mark as you discover the sights and sounds of Silent Hill. Of course, given that this is a remake, the map in this game is different from the original Silent Hill 2. But when near the swimming pool at the apartments, you can actually find the map from the original game, which is a nice touch. So it's not long after finding the original map that you once again run into Angela. It's obvious that Angela has been through something traumatic from her behaviour alone, but there is something else that hints she isn't okay. If you take a closer look at Angela's fingernails, you can see that they've been chewed down to what looks like a pretty uncomfortable level. It's such a small detail that most players wouldn't notice, but it's a perfect case of showing and not telling. Now, when you first meet up with Maria, She's only too happy to chat with James, and in some cases, just comment on the very strange things that he does. For example, you'll have to smash a lot of windows. And I do mean a lot. Sometimes you might find bullets or health items behind said windows, but most of the time, well, if you're like me anyway, you smash them just because it's fun. Well, if you smash windows when with Maria, she will point out how annoying it is.
Ah! You startled me. I could really use a warning next time. Nothing safe with you around, huh? Again. Again.
Something else that would be strange if you were to witness it happen is saving the game. You see, in the Silent Hill 2 remake, James interacts with a red piece of paper and then stares at it whilst you choose where to save. Well, in a kind of fourth wall break, if you save when with Maria, she will say this.
James? Is everything all right? Hey, you okay? It's like you froze for a second.
Yeah, it's fine.
So Maria asks if you're okay after staring blankly at a piece of paper, which is pretty funny. Now, when exploring the motel, you can enter a room by smashing a window, which, as we've already discovered, is sure to make Maria happy.
Whoa! Hey! Why'd you do that?
Well, after entering the crack in the wall and exploring the room next door, you can return to Maria, where she will say this.
Hey, you think I'd look good in this one?
Sure.
Not quite the ringing endorsement, but hey, I'll take it.
So in the closet was this fetching pink outfit, and Maria will ask what you think of it. And that's because this is the same outfit that Maria wore in the original Silent Hill 2. Also, if you just ignore Maria, she will say this.
Hey, you think I'd look good in this one? You know I would. It's a classic.
To me, this is brilliant. I imagine people who played the original game loved when Maria called the original outfit a classic. Another Maria-related detail can be seen whenever James shines his torch into her eyes.
You trying to blind me, James?
So Maria will try to cover her eyes whenever James gets a little trigger happy with the torch. It's not a massive detail, but I always appreciate it when I see it happen in a game. Something else that can be found at the motel is a locked safe. Now, I've been covering Easter eggs and details for years, so whenever I encounter a combination lock, I always try this. So the code to the safe is the now famous 0451. Which has appeared in tons of different games, including Bioshock and Prey. The next location of interest is the strip club, which in what is perhaps Silent Hill 2's biggest scare, contains no actual strippers. However, James may be the man to remedy that.
You gonna dance for me, big guy? I'd pay to see that.
So approaching the pole will cause Maria to comment on the possibility of James forgetting about his wife and starting a career as an exotic dancer, which is brilliant. Oh, and I mentioned the Lost and Found box earlier, but there are a couple of items in the box aside from James's ring that might be of interest. There is a wallet, an obscured photo, and a pair of sunglasses. Again, this is my first proper Silent Hill game, so these might be important or they might not be. Let me know in the comments. Also, on one of the mirrors in the strip club, you can find a sticker of a rabbit. And despite not fully completing any Silent Hill games before now, I am well aware that this is Robbie the Rabbit, who has appeared in loads of Silent Hill games, perhaps most memorably in Silent Hill 4, The Room. Now, this next detail might just be my favourite detail in the entire game, purely because of how subtle it is. When exploring the hospital, James can read several different posters, including this one, which among other things talks of feeling worthlessness and guilt. Well, if you press the triangle button so that you can get a clearer look at what is written on the poster, the word guilt has been removed, hinting at James's state of mind whilst in Silent Hill. I love how a big deal isn't made about the removal of the word guilt. It's just left out for eagle-eyed players to notice. Something else that I thought was really cool when in the hospital are the bugs. There are tons of them running around certain rooms, but they will always run away from the light of your torch. Now, I love it when games use the dual sensors lights in a cool way. And whilst the Silent Hill 2 remake isn't the most innovative way I've seen them used, it's still worth a mention. So when James is healthy, the light on the controller will be green, and when James is hurt, the light on the controller will be orange. However, if James is close to death, the controller light will be red. Like I said, it's not groundbreaking, but I think it's cool. Oh, and finally, it's not just the controller light that is affected by James's health. Here is James's inventory when undamaged. Here is the inventory when he's hurt, and here is the inventory when he's close to death. So that's it. Like I said, I'm certain I've missed some really cool details and Easter eggs from the Silent Hill 2 remake. And if you know something that I should check out, then leave them in the comments down below. As mentioned, subscribing would be super helpful right now. I make tons of videos just like this one on loads of different games, so hopefully you can find something you like. Anyway, as always, thank you all for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon.